It's 140 years ago, on a wind-torn January day. Snow lies 7 foot deep on the moors, high up over Robin Hood's Bay. The Whitby lifeboat crew gets a call out. There's a brig gone down off the bay. The crew are all safe in their lifeboat, but huge rocks are blocking their way. They could have gazed at the raging seas and wept for the fate of the crew. Pray for their souls, maybe set up a fund. There's really naught else we can do over the fear without hope, would lead to despair and inertia. Should have been here, seen hope conquer fear, folk working as one under pressure. Now another good ship nears the rocks, denial and greed at the wheel. Some in charge weeping and others in prayer, some claiming big tech is the deal. Time now to change both captain and crew, refurbish the boat, change the fuel, let passengers brave and resourceful take charge, let care for the ship be the rule. That wise man who wrote of fear without hope, left out both greed and denial. Writing today, he'd most certainly say that both should be subject to trial. Thank you.
In the piece, when it's happening again, when if they're not to waste to nearly big and dragging out waste to came what this is. That a better be the thunderclap or amplified footsteps in dark young woodcrop. Whatever fools continue right to prevent anything further coming from the ajar door. Closed, able to have a swig, not cold. Just below a lifting comfort, a night's meeting. For most people, it's a coffee that gets through its day. For many people, other than not, a drop to lips or in hands where they've proved beyond doubt. It's not frequency, but a pattern enhanced, and then dies quietly down. How many fingers count before checking time? It's quieter now and still final day's task. Perimeter is soon, just secure locks. When laid off, not to waste instead, a rising pattern of consciousness. Not the purpose, but in desperate to escape this, surroundings are just flat lines. Along the never dying, that is following, making instructions, kill off more of them, until nothing gripped, exhausted fit. What got dragged out the being altered, to never see pictured the furthest belt in space, but live to see it appear first on horizon. In bed, choke up upon looking glance. Enough wonder if it's all about inhibitor. For every other thing else when I've learned, concentrate right down the record to live in offered reach or tight. Answers miracles into films, your next favorite band soundtrack, album front cover, t-shirt poster, tattoo shaved, homemade banner, merchandise weighed just twice. But then stolen out their waved hands, that rising and descending line, after stretch back, think, living in but able to see, line rising and descending of the image of the peak, but the feeling is unique. When I've learned how to write it down, when the flame's happening again. Thank you very much. I think congratulations.
You cannot put a barcode on a snowflake. It doesn't matter who you think you are. You cannot set a boundary to a dream or put a price tag on a shooting star. You can't take an idea out and shoot it or lock it up behind prison bars. You cannot arrest a poem and execute it or crush it with a fleet of armoured cars. You'd like to hoover up all the ideas, parcel up and ticket all the dreams, wrap them tight in cellophane and plastic, and pump them out in bulk from slot machines. You'd like to put a patent onto birdsong and charge us when a robin sings a tune. You'd like to send an invoice to the mother every time her child looks at the moon. I know you are attracted to the notion to designate each hillside corporate land. You'd really like to privatise the ocean and charge us for each walk along the strand. But you cannot trap kindness in a bottle and put it on a supermarket shelf. You can't. cannot open up a tin of happiness every time you want to help yourself. You cannot put a use-by date on friendship and stash it in the freezer next to the peas with a message to defrost before using. This is an item that you can't refreeze. You can fool some of the people with mass media from Amsterdam to Boston via Bulgaria, but there'll always be some tosser who will cheat you with unexpected items in the blagging area. You cannot put a barcode on a snowflake. It doesn't matter who you think you are. You cannot set a boundary to our dreams or put a price tag on a shooting star. Thank you. Just a short distance from here was where the slave trade was organised from, and after that Liverpool merchants continued to deal in the products of slavery like tobacco, sugar and cotton. And the cotton exchange is so much cotton coming through in the cotton season that they would sample a bale of cotton and drop it on the flags as if it was covered in snow. Back in old glory days, long since forgotten, the flags here were smothered in snowy white cotton, soft as a carpet beneath merchant feet. King Cotton was plenty, King Cotton was cheap. It came by the Mersey, it came by the seas, by white canvas aloft in the westerly breeze, by Liverpool sailors, nimble in yar, tough as mahogany, weathered as tar. And where do you come from, and where do you go, and where do you come from, my cotton-eyed Joe? I come from the rivers, I come from the mud, I come from the kick and the stick and the blood, I come from the work line, the whip, the plantations, I come from the fracture and breaking of nations. For cotton is gentle, fragile and light, cotton so pure and pristine and white. But the commerce of cotton is darker than death, would barter your soul and crush your last breath. And where do you come from, and where do you go, and where do you come from, my cotton-eyed Joe? I go by the engine, the steam and the rail, I go by the 100-weight bale over bale, I go by Manchester, Bury and Preston, and Blackburn and Bolton, and Darwin and Nelson, where there's brass for the boss, and poor skip-spinning Jenny works hour by long hour for less than 1 penny, where the air is so thick it smothers the lung, and the thundering loom drowns the Lancashire tongue. And where do you come from, and where do you go, and where do you come from, my cotton-eyed Joe? Cotton by bowl, by bag and by bale, for smocks and for shirts, for duckcloth and seal, cotton for mill, for ships and plantations, enriching mill owners, impoverishing nations. Cotton for tyranny, hardship and slavery, cotton for unions, resistance and bravery. Back in its glory days, long since forgotten, it came by the Mersey, that snowy white cotton. Thank you.
I'm Flloyd, that's Flloyd with 2 L's. Just so you know, if you don't give me 2 L's, you won't find me. I've got some books downstairs on the table in the main hall, as does Colin and Greg. In the theme of today, the launch of this year, the year of the spoken word, and I'll say this before I start because I'll forget to say anything at finish because my heartbeat will be raised beyond sensible thinking by the time I'm done. I am a voice coach amongst other things, and I'm quite passionate about people looking after their voices and getting the best out of their voices and remembering that the microphone just amplifies what they're. So if your voice is not in best nick, then that's all that gets amplified. So I'm just thinking I'd be happy to set up a workshop for anybody that's interested in learning how to actually maintain good vocal health, because it's just muscles that you need to exercise, and the more you tone them up, the better they work for you. So if anyone's interested, give me a shout and I'll see if the library will give us a space and we can play with our voices. Okay, here we go. I hope I can read this. Okay. Volume control. The volume control is faulty. Full-throated child, hushed, is numb. Sound flows, is heard, resounds, and feeling returns. Listen, hear, more sound, more feeling. The sounding board at rest is silent, not hushed. And so, life goes on. Thank you. I am not mad, I am my voice. Where my voice is, I am. My voice lives within me. It sounds within me and without me, but never without me. It sounds before me and behind me. And where I am, my voice is. My voice, moving through space and time, becomes part of you. The space of this room bends my sounding voice back to me as sound gives way to silence. Enjoy the silence. Okay, one more? And this is a little bit about writing poetry, but it's also in the act of it about speaking it. My sonnet, or is it? Most mornings at the buzzing of my phone as magpies drink the early morning light, I wake to find my flesh, my skin, my bones, reluctant to escape the dreaming night. I like to be reminded in good time that I exist, that I am really here, all present and correct in form and mind, not just a shadow, a figment in the rear view mirror, speeding from the avalanche of years, expanding backwards, rear-ending me into the cavern of shrunken years ahead that disappear as soon as you look at them. Hold on a minute. That's no a sonnet. That's an angry old lady ranting. And I will rant, and I will roar, and I will greet and roar some more. For I've been here before, and it was real. And realizing that is no big deal. Thank you very much.